Hey guys, it's Rosina and welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, we're going to be doing another story time. Now, this story time will be about my first time on a film set. Now, I've always wanted to go back. I will say that it would be a dream to go back because I feel like it would be something I would love to get back to. I always wanted to be on a set again. I want to travel, I would want to see new places, and I thought being on a set would do that. And I know working conditions on a film set aren't the greatest. I mean, the long hours, the, basically conditions and stuff like that. But I thought, well, I still kind of would like to, and I would like to get the experience again. I think it was great. I got to meet cool people. I got to, get some experience, obviously, to learn more about it, since being in school, you can only do so much. I mean, that's the whole point of getting the film and video degree, I would say. So, but I will start off with picture it. It's 2017, about June, July. It's like maybe probably about a month after I graduated. I graduated in 2017. So this was a long time ago, like what, 5 years? I don't know. I can't remember. Let's see, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18. Oh my gosh, 8 years. It's been 8 years since I've been on a set. It's been too long. Anyway, so it's 2017, and I get an email through my school email. I still had access to it and everything. I'm pretty sure I probably still have access. I could probably find it someday. But I get the email, and it's from a local director who is from Grand Rapids. And he starts off the email talking about, oh, I got a bunch of your names from one of your professors, who was also my advisor. So same kind of thing. And she gave out some names, and he was asking if anybody wanted to join in on helping create a film. And I thought, oh, that'd actually be great, because that's actually something I would like to do. So I emailed him back and I said, hey, if you need somebody, like I'm your girl, so let me know. And he emails me back and he says, yeah, sure, and he sets up an interview. Now, I'm from the east side of Michigan. So I have to make the drive to Grand Rapids to do this interview. So I get in my car, drive up to Grand Rapids, which is about 3 hours, 30 minutes drive from where I'm at. And I get there, we meet up at, I believe, a cafe. And he sits me down and he says, just so you know, this will be about a month, and it is not paid. It was an unpaid internship. And I thought, well, that's fine. It's only a month, and I have a job to go back to after I'm done with this. Because obviously you gotta make money, you gotta make a living. And I said, yeah, sure, that's totally fine. And he lets me know about the movie and like what I'm looking forward to, and he talks about how, well, I filled up most of the positions, because he asked me what I would like to be in the crew. And I said, well, I'm cool with whatever. I can do really any of them if you wanted. I would like to maybe be an assistant director if I could, but if not, like, I can do any of the other ones. And he said, well, the only position I have left is, I believe it was either a gaffer or a grip. They're both basically involving setting up the lighting. So, you work with the director of photography, the camera operator, obviously, and you just set up lighting for the scene. So I said, well, like, I'm cool with taking that position. I can do it. Like, all you got to do is basically, like, whatever the camera person wants you to do, you do it. So I said, yeah. And he's like, okay, cool. So I got the job. So he said, okay, first day is on July 26th. I said, okay, that's cool. And, went from there. So I went home, got ready and everything. Now, July 26th rolls around and I take up a drive. Well, I say up, but it's more down. I drive down Michigan because I had to end up here. Basically at the edge of Michigan, close to Indiana. Like, Indiana's like here. Ohio's like this side. So I'm like close to Indiana. And from like here to here, you can tell I'm from Michigan because I'm using my hand as a map. I had to take about 3 hours, 30 minutes to 4 hours of driving to get there. And we were filming in a town called Galion. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But haha, it sounds like gay alien, That was a running joke that everybody on the set was talking about. It was really funny. So I take the drive. It was, like I said, pretty long. And when you're driving by yourself and the roads are starting to look like the middle of nowhere, it gets kind of boring. So you got to entertain yourself. So I get there. And I believe I'm like one of the, not major positions, but like kind of like the lower position people. I was like the first one there. And of course with me, I get there early. I always need to be places early. I can't ever be late. I had to live with being late all the time because that was my life. If I wasn't able to drive anywhere by myself, I would be late. So, never again. Anyway, so I get there and I see that there's a big truck that's holding up all the equipment. And I see someone, taking stuff out. So I park and I go and introduce myself. And I get to learn that the person in the truck is the director of photography, the camera operator. So I get to talking to her, and I said, I got here and I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be doing first. And she's like, well, go find the director and see what he wants you to do. So I said, okay. So I'm looking around and I finally find him. And I say, hey, Kyle, isn't that funny that his name's Kyle, but my husband's name is also Kyle? They're two different people, but it's kind of funny that they're both Kyle. So I go, hey, Kyle, I'm here, what do you need me to do? And he said, go help Aaron, who is the director of photography. He said, go help Aaron with the stuff in the truck and just get most of it out and help her organize it. And I said, sure. So I go back and I said, hey, Aaron, Kyle told me to come and help you. So she's like, okay, so can you take all these cables and just separate certain ones? Like, we don't need certain ones, but just kind of wrap them nice and put them in this wheelbarrow. So I go, okay. So I start doing that. And once I'm almost getting them all in there, she stops me for a second. She's like, wait, I just realized we don't need these black ones. We just need the orange ones. So can you, obviously take those out. I'll figure out what I want to do with those. And I said, sure. So I made the mistake of forgetting about gravity, and I start taking cables out from the front of the wheelbarrow. And while I'm doing that, the wheelbarrow is gonna start tipping. And I thought it was a great idea to stop it with my knee. So I'm standing there, it's starting to go, and I was like, wait, and then I hit my knee. And of course, not even an hour that I get there, I already injure myself. And I mean, look at this. That's pretty bad. Now, it didn't really hurt. I mean, it hurt for a minute because, I mean, obviously something hitting you really hard on your knee can hurt. And Aaron's just like, oh my God, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. That was on me. I was like, I forgot about gravity. And one of the other people come by and he looks at me and he goes, do you need a Band-Aid? Like, do you need like any medical assistance? And I said, a Band-Aid would be nice because I did have a cut. So he went and got me a Band-Aid. I said, oh, thank you so much and stuff like that. And I'm just sitting there so embarrassed because, like I said, not even an hour and I'm already hurt. And then I text my husband, who literally was maybe a day after we started dating. Like, we became boyfriend and girlfriend the day before I left for my internship. And I text him and I'm like, I hurt myself. And he's like, what did you do? And I send him that picture that I just showed you. And he's like, oh my God, I need to find some hazard cones to surround you with because you are a hazard to yourself. So, but the rest of the day was fine. I helped her take all that stuff. And after I was done, I went up to Kyle and I said, do you need anything else? And he said, no, I think we're good for the day. So go to the Airbnb and just, relax and stuff. So I'm the first one to get to the Airbnb. And it was a nice little place. I will say our host, very sweet lady. And like, she literally had some wine out. And she said, you take any of that wine that you want. I don't care. And she let us do whatever. It's like we could do our laundry there. We could use our laundry detergent. Like, she did not care. And she was very sweet. And she had really cute dogs. So I got to play with some dogs. So that happens. And then all the other days were fine. There was a day where I got to finally meet a really good friend that I've made. And that was the makeup artist. And it was the first time I ever met somebody that was trans. They are female to male. So he was great. I thought he was so fun and adventurous, and like I got to help him out with the makeup and stuff. Like, I was also his assistant because I guess after that incident of me hurting myself, I guess Kyle thought it was better that I switched roles and he got someone else to do the gaffer slash grip. I'm pretty sure it was gaffer. So he got someone else to do the gaffer stuff and I became a production assistant. And I thought, well, it's better than getting kicked out. So thank God I still basically had a job. So, but production assistant's still fine too. And I was technically the key production assistant because I also was in charge of the other production assistants that came in. Because some days, like, more and more people came in, so more and more production assistants came in. I had like 2 other people I had to watch over. So I did basically what a production assistant did, run errands. I picked up people that were needed, any of the stars. I grabbed catering, I moved things, I helped the production designer, I helped literally everybody. So I was helping out my makeup artist friend, and I got to see all the really cool stuff like he could do. Like, he was pretty good at like the special effects stuff, like how like you can have like skin peeling off and like blood and like all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was really cool. And he was great. I got to actually on some days where we had a break, we had breaks on weekends. So certain weekends, it was like every other weekend, I think, but I'm pretty sure it was each weekend, but we would have breaks, obviously, where we weren't filming. And one of those weekends, I went over to check out his place, and he was also living with his parents. at the time, just like with me. After graduating, I lived with my parents until I was comfortable and had enough money to do my own thing and get my own apartment. So, and he was still in high school. I mean, obviously, he still could be living with his parents. He was younger than me. So, I go over there and I got to see his stuff, and he's actually Native American. I'm not exactly sure what tribe. I can't really remember. I'd have to ask him, but I thought that was pretty cool too. I was like, wow, you know, the land that they were on could have been made into like a national park. But obviously they didn't want to do that because, you know, you don't want people destroying your land basically. Because we all know how people are, right? So I got to go there. I got to explore it and everything. And I saw some caterpillars. And I thought, oh, you know, I want to send this to my sister because I thought she would think it's really cool. And I send the picture and she's like, why would you send me that? Apparently she was afraid of caterpillars. I didn't know. So I was like, okay. And so we were walking around and I actually received a gift from him a couple days before we were leaving. I think that's when I went over there, was a little before we were done filming and having to, you know, go our separate ways. And he gives me a turtle head necklace. And he said it was basically like, when I'm giving you a gift, that means we're basically friends for life. And I think I read somewhere, don't quote me on it, I'm not exactly sure about Native American tribes, but I've heard that turtle necklaces, or just like turtles in general, are, I mean, they basically are for like protection and like strength and health and like all that kind of stuff. Like, it's good stuff. It's good luck. So I will say that necklace came in handy. I will say that for a situation I was in. That'll be a different time. Sorry, I went into a tangent. I have ADHD, so my thoughts get all scrambled trying to tell this story, but I'll get back into it. So probably a couple days later, I get to meet one of basically a celebrity, and I recognized him from a certain movie. I'm sure some of you know Don from Napoleon Dynamite, you know, vote for Summer. I got to meet him, and I thought, wow, you know, I got to actually meet somebody in the industry. And I will say, Trevor is the sweetest guy. He's very sweet, and he's funny, and like, he was a great time to have around. And I actually got to really befriend him. And like, I follow him on Instagram. He follows me on Instagram. I have him on Facebook. I'm surprised I still use Facebook. I have his number. I don't use it though because, you know, I don't want to bother him. And it's been a long time. But like, I actually became really friendly with him, and he was actually really cool to hang out with. Like, we actually got to hang out on one of the days off we had. I took him and our makeup artist to the beach because, you know, when you have a day off, you want to do something fun. So we went to the beach and had a great time. It was a good day out, and that's what he wanted to do. So we also brought his dog Rome, who is the cutest dog, and I'm hoping he's doing okay right now. He's pretty old, so I hope he's doing all right. I've been checking up on him. So we brought Rome, and he's a little like Cocker Spaniel, and we had a great time at the beach. Like, I can show proof that I actually did do that. Like, here's a picture. You can see Trevor's there. There's me, and then our makeup artist. So yes, we did actually do that, and I can show, you know, a little bit of the stuff we did at the beach. And I can even show videos I took of Trevor, because he asked me to do some. And I will say the quality is not the greatest because I did have an iPhone 5 at the time. So footage isn't that great. So don't judge me, please.
We give respect. We get respect. I'm about a dead man walking. I'm about a dead man walking. When you're all nice and bloody and you don't know how to get this stuff off, Blue Dawn. Blue Dawn will take all that blood away.
Ready?
I'm Spider-Man.
Now, I get to meet him, and that was a great time, but I will talk about the one time I had. There was a time that I had to stay behind one day and not go to the other set because, unfortunately, we weren't able to use the school anymore. I don't remember the reason why. I think it's because the school got sold to something, because it was abandoned. Like, no one uses it anymore. It's abandoned. And so we weren't able to use the school anymore. And so I had to stay behind, and I was moving so much equipment out. We had a bunch of like corn stalks and stuff like that, because there was a scene in the gym where it looked like a crop field, but it wasn't, you know. And I'm moving that stuff out. I'm moving a bunch of desks out. And let me tell you, desks are heavy. Even if they're elementary school desks, those are heavy. So I'm sitting there trying to do it, and we're on a time limit, basically. I had to get all that out soon. So I'm trying to do that, and then I get a text from one of the crew members, and they're like, hey, we need you to come by, because I needed to eat, obviously. They're like, hey, catering's here, like, come by the other set and come get some food. So I go over there, and they're asking me how it was going with it. I said, well, you know, it's taking a while, because it's only just me there. And they're like, you know what, like, we'll send someone with you. And the only person that came with me was the makeup artist, because he wasn't needed apparently the rest of the day. So he came with me, and I asked about the other production assistant. I said, you know, can he come with me? And they were like, no, we needed him to take Trevor and them back to their Airbnbs. I said, okay. So we go back, and he's helping me move more of the stuff out. And luckily, we got everything out by that night. But of course, I was telling him, I said, you know, I'm not too happy that I was left alone to do this for a while. I really it would have helped if I had extra hands like you. And even he was like, yeah, that really they should have had someone else come and help too. And even with the two of us, it's still not enough. We need like 3 people. So that was probably the one time that it wasn't a great time on set. That was like my only negative, I'd say, was that. But there was also a time where our director of photography had to go somewhere to help with the shoot, but she was obviously going to come back. And then she had someone to replace her for a bit while she was gone. So we weren't left high and dry. She had a backup for us. So I get a text from her saying, hey, can you come pick me up? I said, sure. So I had to drive to Chicago to come get her. And she let me know that she would let me know when she was out and everything, and just to text her when I got there. So I texted her and I said, hey, I'm in a parking lot, because I didn't know Chicago O'Hare. I've never been to Chicago. I think that's the only time I've been to Chicago at the time. Like, that was my first time in Chicago, and it was going to the airport. So I didn't know O'Hare. So she's like, okay, tell me which parking lot you're in. And I told her, and she found me. And she's like, hey, don't worry about paying for parking. I will pay for it, since you didn't exactly know where to go. And I said, yeah, this is my first time coming to this airport, so I didn't know where to go. And she's like, that's fine. So we get back, and I will tell you, this was a cool day, because when we got back, they were doing a scene where there was a bunch of cars on fire. And I'll show that footage. Like, isn't that cool? Like, and don't worry, we had the fire department with us just in case things went awry. So don't worry about that. So that happened. And then there was a day where I got sick. And I'm not sure if it was from the long hours. I'm not sure if it was just my immune system. Who knows? Sometimes I get sick, sometimes I don't. And I think it might have been from working a lot of hours. I think that's what caused it. But I was sick one day, and it's sad because I picked up Trevor that day to come bring him, because he wasn't in a scene, but he wanted to see it. So I said, sure, I'll come get you and I'll drive you there. And we brought Rome, so Rome was in the car. And you know what? I wasn't feeling great, so I went up to Kyle, the director, and I said, hey, Kyle, I'm really not feeling well. Like, is it okay if I, stop for the night? And he said, sure. He's like, yeah, you're not feeling well. Yeah, go back to the Airbnb and go get some rest. So that's the thing that I'm actually happy that happened, because I really was not feeling well that day. And I went up to Trevor and I said, Trevor, Brandon's probably gonna have to take you home, because I can't stay. And he's like, okay. So we took Rome and put him in Brandon's car instead. And I went back to the Airbnb. And I will say it only lasted that day, because the next day I was fine. I don't know what happened, but that was the only time I got sick. And it still sucked though, because I felt really bad. So, but yeah, that's basically my whole experience. It was actually a really fun time. It was just the one negative one that I wasn't too happy about. But other than that, that was great. That was a great time. Also, funny thing before I end this video. So, also on this, set and everything, it was actually my birthday. And, I got to celebrate it with that. And my best friend actually sent me a edible arrangements to, celebrate and, congratulate me on, doing this internship. And she texted me, hey, where's that Airbnb? I'll send it there. And I told her, I was like, well, I don't know if I really should do that, but I guess, okay. And what's funny is I get back to the Airbnb and our host is like, hey, there's a package for you here. So it was really funny. So yeah, I guess that's the end of my story time, and I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me any other videos you'd like to see from me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.